Crypto Kids, we have some important information from the FOMC press conference that we just live streamed over on the Moon channel. It was a 1 hour and 40-minute stream. Petra Powell spoke a lot, but we do have the updates on what took place with the FOMC statement, what was the actual interest rates, and how that impacts the macro. I have to update you on Bitcoin. We closed the first CME gap that we were due to close. We gave this update exclusively to our community over on LoveX that we're just starting. And we said that the first CME gap at 89.2 is going to close, and then we're going to move up to 93. I'm going to close my existing long positions, a majority of them at 93. And then I'm planning to short when Bitcoin heads into the daily 200 moving average, because that's what we do in every single cycle. We test the 200 daily moving average, and then Bitcoin experiences a correction. That is still the plan. And I also highlighted my bull case scenario in the video this morning, which you guys did a fantastic job with destroying the likes. If we can do the same thing, it would be amazing. We're super close to 65,000 subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe as well for daily price updates. At the 200 daily moving average, I am going to start building some shorts, but if Bitcoin decides to see a break to the upside, then I will exit them immediately and I will flip long, because then you'll be breaking off the 4-year cycles and doing something different. But until then, I'm going to expect the same as what took place every single time. We've been bringing up this Ben Cowen chart where we looked at the QT ending bear market in 2019 and corresponded it to the current situation of the market. And you almost have a one-to-one correlation. We said that, look, for most of this year, we're going to consolidate. So I'm going to stick to a short, and I'm going to continue with that short and add more to it if we get that rejection from the 200 day. And if we don't, I'll get out of it and I will switch long. I just deposited $55,000 into my LoveX account, which I will be posting my position. Once I jump into that specific position, it's going to be live here. So if you want to follow along with exclusive content that I post tomorrow morning, I'll upload a Da Vinci interview that I did today when I saw him for lunch. I met him and we went for lunch. Make sure to go to the first link. It's going to be the first link in the description down below in this video. You'll find it here. It will say LoveX. It is completely free to sign up. Create your account. And as soon as you sign up with my link, when you search Crypto Kid, then you will be able to follow along with the exclusive posts that I post here. And when I do my trade, it will be live over on LoveX too. I really like their UI. I'm very excited to jump into that position when the time arrives. It looks pretty cool. You can even do something called multi-trade, where you can hedge by longing and shorting the same contract and then adjusting it when necessary. And you can see the CryptoKit posts on the right-hand side too. Very excited. If you want to give it a try, it is going to be the first link in the description. LoveX. Okay, cool. So what happened in the FOMC? We had a 99.4% chance the Fed didn't cut rates. They went ahead and kept rates at 3.75%. Now, Trueflation, third-party, individual, independent inflation aggregators claim that inflation is closer to 1.16% and highlights concerns for even deflation when goods and services begin losing value year on year. But the government says that the inflation is at 2.7%. Don't trust everything you see online. I would probably assume it's somewhere between what Trueflation and the government are projecting. And that takes you to basically 2%, which is what the government wants inflation to remain at a consistent basis. So the risks to inflation have come down. So the upside risks to inflation have diminished, said Powell. Nobody in the FOMC wants to be having a base case where there's going to be rate hikes. And in my opinion, his tonality was quite dovish. I think he wants to cut rates after the next meeting. So we're looking at higher chances of cutting by June, and that's what I would be anticipating. I think there was a good dovish tone, but the price of Bitcoin didn't move so much because a lot of this was already priced into the charts. We didn't see something ridiculous get mentioned, but yeah, I think our case for retesting and at least closing the CME gap at $93,000 is still there. There's a 97% chance we close CME gaps in approximation, and I still think that there's a good chance we will test that 200 daily moving average and probably lead into a descending consolidation. And I will take profits, obviously, from that shorts if we get that sustained rejection. Shout out to Ben Cowen. He commented on my tweet today when we were streaming the Powell show. He said, when I was your age, I was doing my math homework. You should do very well. Well, I am losing my hair and I do have back pain and I do have neck pain, but hopefully it's all going to account for something at the end of the day. This morning, we covered the price of gold, which reached $5,300 per ounce for the first time in history. Look, people that are Bitcoin investors are upset that Bitcoin is not pumping when gold is pumping. Truth be told, Bitcoin was surging in 2023 and 2024. But when it came to 2025, it was the time for precious metals to shine. So don't complain so much because, Bitcoin was performing very well for 2 years consistently. And you know what? It was just time for an asset rotation and for precious metals to take the show. I think Bitcoin will catch up in the long term. We know that Bitcoin is the better asset long term. And if you can dollar cost average into Bitcoin, then I think you can see something magical. So to segue off into the final bit of today's video, it is going to be about the brand new Trump accounts that will be introduced over on July the 5th, 2026. Every American kid born between December, when was it? January the 1st of 2025? It should be something like that. So who is eligible? It should be between January the 1st, 2025 to December the 31st, 2028. That should be the age range. Every kid born in that age range is going to get $1,000 from the government. They're going to get $1,000 from Coinbase, $1,000 from the Bank of America, and a couple of other institutions. So in total, you're probably going to get around $4,000 to $5,000 for your kid if you have a kid during that time. For there's Jan 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2028. The account will be in your custody until the kid turns 18. And what it's doing is it's just going to invest the money into the stock market. Now, this is a inflationary thing. They're going to have to print money. For at least the government part, the $1,000, they're going to have to print money to be able to pay this off. So it's an inflationary thing, and the money's going to go into the market. So it's hitting quantitative easing. President Trump is literally doing his own quantitative easing program. It's genius. Okay, I really like the initiative because it will teach kids financial literacy, and it will teach the power of compound interest. So if you go to the official government website and scroll to the end, there is a nice mathematical calculation that incorporates the average historical returns of the S&P 500. So this money is going to be invested into the S&P. And if you as a parent didn't contribute any extra dollars to this account, right, with the initial $1,000 the government funds you, not including the institutional money, by the end of those 18 years, you should have 5.8x that. That comes from something called compound interesting. If you put money consistently into something that over a yearly basis, on average, the S&P grows by about 8% per year. If you put small amounts of money over a long period of time to something that gets sustainable percentage growth year on year, that money is going to multiply fast and it's going to grow up exponentially. Think about going to the gym. The first 2 months of the gym, you don't see too much happening, but the third month, it starts to take off. And at the fourth and fifth and sixth month, you become a different person. That's the power of compound interest. The same law is applicable to investing. If you just contribute $250 a year, that investment goes from $5,800 to $20,700. If you can put in $5,000 a year, you can see $300K by the end of 18 years old. And if you want to do it for your retirement, then at retirement, that can equal 2.7 million. Obviously, the purchasing power of that money is going to be significantly less in value, but it's still something to add to your Roth IRA or your 401k. And you don't need the government to do this for you, by the way. And this is just encompassing the S&P. If you take the same model, buy $10 worth of Bitcoin daily and put it into your hardware wallet and do it for 15, 20 years, or you do it for your kid, I think you can end up with millions, in my opinion, if we follow our extrapolations from historical data, and you see like a 27% per year growth. That's Michael Saylor's prediction. If you do that for 15 years, then you can turn a couple of tens of thousands of dollars into potentially millions over a 15-year basis. I'm very confident in Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is going to absorb all the financial capital that exists today, which is roughly about $150 trillion. And that would give you about a 140x in return, a bit more, 445x in return. And if that compound interests over the next 15 to 20 years, boy, oh boy, you're going to be very, very wealthy. And that's the true secret to becoming rich with crypto. It's very boring. The answer is very simple, very plain. It's just putting a little bit of money into Bitcoin every day and not selling. That's based off of my studying. Unfortunately, even though it's such an easy thing to do in hindsight, only 2 people that watch this video are going to do it, and they're going to give up halfway. it is what it is. People like to overcomplicate things, but the answer is actually pretty simple. So with that said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all on my update tomorrow. Take care, and as always, bye-bye.